All right, immigration. We're going to talk about the countries of origin and how the immigration problem is being confused right now. So, according to the 2000 census, 10.2 million Asians came in and made up 3.6% of the US population, okay? Included immigrants from China, Japan, Korea, the Philippines, South and Southeast Asia, all considered Asians. So 3% of the population was immigrants, okay? Asian immigrants specifically, okay? From this little bit in the 1900s to an explosion. Also, the Latin population, which is a little bit of a lie because they've always been here, but white people claimed and considered them, or Latins, whites. So that's why they're on this list. Now, when we talk about dark immigration, we have to mention slavery. So in just 2000, 10.2 million Asians were counted and make up the 3% of the 3.6% of the population. But for over 500 years, from the 1500s to the 1800s, 10 million enslaved Africans, okay, more than 10 million, okay, and they're saying only 500,000 were transported. They said 10 million enslaved were brought into the Americas, the continent, North America and South America, okay, but they said only 500,000 of them were brought to the 13 colonies. So where did all of the other 42 million dark-skinned people come from that live in the North and South American? Well, actually, just North America, there are 42 million. Just in North America, there are 42 million non-Spanish, non-colonized, indigenous native peoples. That population wasn't counted as immigrants because remember, immigration means colonization, to bring something from outside of the country and to have it settle within the country. Immigration is something that's spoken about by the people that created and started the immigration process. And they have always manipulated and controlled which people they wanted into this country. This country was not always theirs, it was not always shared. There was a population before any immigrant. So we began counting immigration since 1492. If for over 500 years and directly 500,000 Africans came here, there is absolutely no way that the African population is 13%. Okay? That's not true and it's not possible when in 2003, 10.2 million Asians from all Asian countries were considered to be immigrants in America. Okay? The Latin population across the Americas in the year 2000, they said, was 35.3 million. That's just people who are Spanish speakers. That has nothing to do with their race or religion. Latin is not a race, okay? Spanish could be considered a race, but it's not, okay? Because Spaniards are considered to be white. They have been claimed by the Free White Persons Act. So whether they're called Latins or Spaniards, there's a very big difference between a Spaniard and a Latin, okay? And it has nothing to do with race. It has to do with colonization, the immigration process. Spaniards colonized the Americas before the English did. Christopher Columbus came to the Americas, an Italian man on a Spanish ship. This Spanish ship was piloted by dark-skinned Spanish-speaking people called conquistadors. The immigration from Europe, the European migration, says that the first European settlers to settle means foreigners from another land, that began between the 1500s and the 1600s. In 1492, we say Columbus landed in the Caribbean, and that gave claims to more European Moors over the Moorish kingdom called the Americas, called the New World, because these people were kept away from this place because of their ignorance and inability to travel across the world. They did not build their own ships. That's why they had to get on Spanish ships. They did not have anything to buy, sell, or trade. They were looking for things to conquer. So they took over other places and other lands as they were taken over in their own homelands. Very simple and easy to understand. By the late 1800s, The majority of the European immigrants were coming from Eastern and Southern Europe. Keep that in mind. Why they say Europeans civilized the Americas. They say this lie. They were immigrants running away from an uncivil society, and they ran to a place that they said was filled with savages. How does a savage call a person that is civil a savage? They did it in their own language, in their own law, in their own legal terms. If an immigrant was able to get on a boat and make it to the American dream, it was called the American dream because where they were coming from was an absolute nightmare. Do not be confused or conflicted. We gave an open home and a clean place for all immigrants of the world. We were not wrong for doing that, but we were wrong for letting them sit next to us in a seat of power. And we were wrong for letting them teach our children. 500 years of miseducation we have to reteach ourselves by understanding what they wrote and how they wrote it.